They don't want to be with you. And these are the 3 mistakes most people make that push the person they love further away. But who am I to teach you this? Well, I've done 15 years of my own personal therapy. I've been through some pretty painful romantic experiences. I've invested tens of thousands of dollars into different mentors, courses, books, and qualifications. And I've coached people all across the globe from all different walks of life. And so if you want to stick around, let's dive in. So mistake number 1 is what I call chasing clarity. When someone starts pulling away, most people panic. They panic because they don't know what's going to happen. Are they coming back? Are they losing feelings? Did I ruin it? Should I wait? Should I move on? Should I give them space? And because that certainty feels almost unbearable, they start chasing certainty. They check their phone constantly. They read into every message. They replay the last conversation. They stalk their social media. They ask their friends what it means. They send another message just to see how the other person responds. And I get why people do this. Because in that moment, you're not really looking for information. You are looking for relief. You want them to say something to make the pain stop. But this is where it becomes a problem. Now you start treating their response as the thing that decides whether you're okay. If they text warmly, you feel better. If they are cold, you will spiral. If they reply quickly, you relax. If they take hours, then your mind starts creating stories. And the harder you chase certainty from someone that is unsure, distant, or overwhelmed, the more pressure they start to feel. I hope you're enjoying my stick figure drawing so far. So instead of bringing them closer, you actually create more distance. This is why chasing certainty is such a painful mistake, because even when you do get an answer, it usually doesn't last. They reassure you today, but tomorrow you need it again. They say they care, but then they act distant, and you're back in the spiral. So the real issue is not that you need more answers. The real issue is that you haven't learned to be with the feelings that come up when you don't have the answers. The fear, the anxiety, the grief, the rejection, the uncertainty. You need to learn how to process emotions without immediately reacting to them. Because uncertainty is a part of relationships. You will never have complete control over whether someone stays, chooses you, leaves, changes their mind, or loves you the way you want to be loved. But you can learn to stay grounded when you don't know what's going to happen. And this is why a lot of relationship advice online can be so confusing. A lot of it is a one-size-fits-all approach. One person says go no contact. Someone else says fight for the relationship. Someone else says give them space. Someone else says tell them how you feel. But the truth is, all of those things can be right in one situation and completely wrong in the other. No contact could be the healthiest choice in one relationship. In another relationship, it might just be a way to punish the other person, avoid vulnerability, or pretend you don't care. This is why the real work isn't just learning the right move. The real work is developing the ability to know what the right move is for your situation. My camera just overheated, but it was a blessing in disguise because after reflecting on my ability to draw, I think we're going to switch things up. So as I mentioned, the real work isn't just learning the right move. The real work is developing the ability to know what the right move is for your situation. When you can start to learn how to process these difficult emotions, then the fear starts to settle. The panic starts to lose its grip, and you start thinking more clearly. You can ask better questions, not just how do I get this person back, or how do I get them to commit, or how do I find the one. You can start asking what is actually healthy here. I could easily tell you what I think you should do in your relationship, but I'd much rather help you develop the ability to know what to do in your relationship. And this is exactly what we teach inside Relationship Mastery. You'll learn how to process those difficult emotions so you can start making better decisions, not decisions from fear, but decisions from clarity, groundedness, calmness. And when you genuinely do not know what to do, you'll have a space to ask questions, get personalized feedback, and be in a community of other people who are going through what you're going through and are wanting to better themselves and grow. so that you don't have to figure this out alone. Because from my personal experience, the pain that comes up in a romantic relationship is hard enough, let alone in isolation. Mistake 2 is what I call the surface trap. When someone pulls away or leaves, most people focus on the surface of what happened. They either blame the other person, they're toxic, they're avoidant, they're emotionally unavailable, they are selfish, they led me on, they are the reason this fell apart. Or they blame themselves. I wasn't enough. It's all my fault. I ruined it. I should have done more. If I was better, they would have stayed. And I understand why people do this. When we're in pain, our mind wants answers. It wants someone to blame because blame reduces the pain. But blame is not the same as understanding. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. They keep asking, whose fault was this? But a better question is, what was this relationship revealing? And let me help you answer that. Because a lot of relationship problems don't start in your relationship. The way we chase, the way we shut down, the way we overgive or tolerate things we shouldn't, the way we avoid hard conversation or lose ourselves trying to keep someone, the way we make someone else's distance mean something about our worth. A lot of that was learnt long before this person came along. Most people I know didn't grow up pain-free. They learnt that love had to be earned, or that their needs were too much, or that speaking up caused conflict, or they learned that people leave, or that they had to be easy, useful, strong, quiet, or low maintenance in order to be loved. Or maybe they learned that they had to abandon themselves so that other people wouldn't abandon them. And then years later we get into a relationship and we wonder why we feel so anxious, reactive, needy, why we become distant, resentful, or afraid. But the relationship did not create all of that pain, it revealed it. The real work is learning to see the deeper pattern without making the other person the villain, and without turning yourself into the problem. And these are some of the questions we ask people inside Relationship Mastery to help them see the deeper pattern. What were you trying to get from them? What were you afraid of? What did you keep tolerating? What needs did you stop expressing? What boundaries did you not hold? What past pain was being triggered? What did you learn growing up that is now affecting the way that you love? Because if you don't understand that, then even if they come back, even if they commit, even if you meet the love of your life, the same problems can show up again and again. And that's why I say it can be a different face, a different name, but it can still activate the same pain. One of the first things we do inside Relationship Mastery is we give our clients a roadmap so they can start understanding the relationship patterns, where they came from, how they're showing up, and most importantly, how they can start changing them. They get access to practical tools, guided modalities, audio resources, and live calls where we work through this together in real time. Mistake 3, the skill gap. This is where someone wants a relationship to change, but they don't learn how to relate differently. They want less conflict, they want better communication, they want more connection, they want the other person to feel safe with them again. They want the relationship to survive. But when the same triggers show up, they go back to the same patterns. Getting defensive, shutting down, chasing, criticizing, over-explaining, people-pleasing, avoiding the hard conversation, saying yes when you mean no, bringing things up in a way that creates more distance, trying to get reassurance instead of creating safety, trying to win an argument instead of trying to understand the other person. And the hard part is that you can understand why you behave like this, but still do it. That is why insight alone is not enough. You can understand your past, you can understand your patterns, you can understand your wounds, you can understand why you chase, shut down, overgive. But if you do not learn new relationship skills, the same problems will keep showing up in real life. Because eventually we have to communicate when we're hurt. We have to listen without becoming defensive. And we have to express a need without attacking. We will have to set a boundary without threatening the relationship. We will have to repair after conflict. We'll have to stay connected when things feel uncomfortable. We'll have to stop making our partner responsible for every emotion that we feel. We'll have to learn how to be honest without being harsh. And we'll have to learn how to love without losing ourselves. This is where a lot of people struggle. They think the goal is just to get the person, to get them to commit more, to get them back, to find the love of their life. But getting someone doesn't mean that the relationship will work. Because if the same communication patterns are there, the same conflict will come back. If the same lack of boundaries are there, the same resentment will come back. If the same defensiveness is there, the same disconnection will come back. If the same emotional reactivity is there, the same fights will come back. So the question is not just, how do I get them? The better question is, who do I need to become? And what skills do I need to learn so that any relationship I enter has a real chance of thriving? Because if they choose you, you need to learn to show up differently. And if they don't choose you, you'll still need these skills so that you don't take the same patterns and pain into the next relationship. And this is why relationship skills need to become practical. It cannot just be thinking, it cannot just be journaling, it cannot just be understanding your childhood. At some point, you need to learn how to relate differently. And this is why inside Relationship Mastery, we don't just talk about relationship skills. We practice them. Communication, repair, emotional regulation, boundaries, conflict, self-expression. You get to practice these skills in a safe, intimate space with real feedback. So when it actually matters, when emotions are high and you're looking into the eyes of your partner, you have already put in the reps. You are not trying to figure things out in the moment. You have trained for it. So at this point, you may have already booked in a call with myself and my team. If you haven't and you'd like to learn more about Relationship Mastery and how myself and my team can help you, then feel free to send me the word transform on Instagram. Sending you love.